Everybody's going crazy over Traeger turkeys these days. Matt Pittman did one, Malcolm Reed did one, and even this guy did one. Actually, that's me. Yes, I jumped on the Traeger turkey bandwagon as well. But are they really that good? I'm going to smoke 2 turkeys, one on the Traeger and one on the Oklahoma Joe's offset smoker, and I'm gonna compare them to see which one is more flavorful, juicy, faster cooking, more evenly cooking, just better in general. And if you own the winning smoker, then you can feel good about yourself. And if you don't, then it's justification to buy another smoker, so everybody wins. Okay, let's get smoking. I'm starting with 2 turkeys that are 12 pounds and 14 pounds. They came pre-brined, but usually that doesn't do anything, so I brined them again for 6 hours. I'm spatchcocking both turkeys because they'll cook way faster and more evenly, which is particularly important for the Oklahoma Joe's for reasons I'll explain in this video. Now, while I'm mutilating these birds, I'll explain why I'm doing this experiment. Thanksgiving is coming up, and I want to make the best smoked turkey I've ever cooked. That means crispy, bite-through skin, smoky, but not too smoky, and it's gotta be juicy and flavorful. That's my criteria. I haven't been able to achieve all those things on the Traeger or the Oklahoma Joe's so far, so I'm hoping that by doing this experiment, it'll help me crack that problem and figure out how to get everything I'm looking for in a smoked turkey. After the birds are spatchcocked, I'm patting them dry and covering them in a bit of canola oil. The canola oil is gonna help crisp up that skin and hold the rub on. The rub I'm using is Blues Hog Sweet and Savory that I had left over from the last barbecue competition that I was in. Now it's time to get the pits going.
Here we go. You're looking for somebody to get in my way. I'm gonna tell them stay out my way, cause I don't play. And when it's the time to roll, I roll like I sold them in control. Check it out, I hit and I hold. When it comes down to it, we do it. Ain't nobody playing the games because we need to pursue it. Trying to get this money in the 9-0. Check it out, the 2000. Here we go. La la la. I say ooh 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 la la la.
Now, I'm putting the smaller 12-pound turkey in the Oklahoma Joe's because it usually takes longer in the Oklahoma Joe's. I'm putting a meter wireless probe in the leg, the side facing the firebox, so I can monitor the internal temperature of the turkey and also the ambient temperature of the smoker so I can manage the fire. I'm running the smoker at 300 degrees Fahrenheit. Technically, it's around 275 to 310 degrees Fahrenheit on the Oklahoma Joe's because I'm adding splits every 20 minutes and it spikes up and down, but that's what I'm aiming for, 300 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm placing the larger 14-pound turkey on the Traeger. The meter is placed in the breast this time. I have a second meter, and I'm setting the Traeger to 300 degrees Fahrenheit. The probe location is different on this turkey. I want it in the breast because that's really the temperature I want to monitor. And with the Traeger, I don't have to monitor the ambient temperature with the meter probe because the Traeger already monitors that temperature for me. And again, I'm setting the Traeger to 300 degrees Fahrenheit, same as the Oklahoma Joe's. 1.5 hours in, I turned the turkey on the Oklahoma Joe's around so that the breast side was facing the firebox, and I placed the meter in the breast this time. And that's where it would remain until the end of the cook. And this ensures that I can monitor the breast temperature and make sure I pull it at exactly the right time. 3 hours in, the Traeger turkey was looking good, and it was around 155 degrees Fahrenheit in the breast, which is the perfect temperature where I like to pull my turkeys. So I pulled it out and I got ready to look at the Oklahoma Joe's turkey. Around the same time, the Oklahoma Joe's turkey was only around 135 degrees Fahrenheit, and it was stalling out for some reason and not going up in temperature. So I brought the temperatures up to above 300 degrees Fahrenheit to try to cook it faster. This took another 1.5 hours until I finally pulled it off at an internal temperature in the breast of 155 degrees Fahrenheit. Then I cut into the Traeger turkey to test it out. All right, let's do a quick taste test of the Traeger turkey. If you're wondering why I'm looking different, it's because I usually do the narration piece after I do the actual cooking, but obviously I'm doing the cooking right now, so I probably have a haircut in the earlier part of the video. All right, let's take a bite of this. That's really good. This is really good. Mmm. Oh man. Perfectly cooked, really well seasoned. You can taste the brine. I like the seasoning on the skin. It gives it a nice little kick. And I can't really taste the smoke at all, which is pretty par for the course for Traegers in my experience. But the flavor is amazing. This is great. It's perfectly done. Mmm. Yeah, I could eat that all day. That's so good. Okay, now it's time to cut into the Oklahoma Joe's turkey. All right, let's get a bite of this turkey that was cooked on the Oklahoma Joe's. I can taste the impactful smoke flavor. It's super, super forward. And it's really in stark contrast to the Traeger turkey that didn't have any smoke flavor. This is like, it adds a lot of flavor. I can taste the smoke. It's good. It's not too bitter. I could see if I smoked it a little bit longer, it might have got a little bit bitter. The skin's definitely more flavorful. It has more of that smoke flavor. What I would say though is the skin is a little bit tougher. It's a little bit chewier. So if I peel this off, you can kind of see what I'm talking about. It hasn't rendered all the way, so it's hard to pull apart. If I take a bite of it, you almost have to rip it off in your mouth. I think the reason for this is because in the Oklahoma Joe's, I was running 275 to 300. That is probably lower on average than running the Traeger at 300, because the Traeger tends to go a little bit higher than the set temperature, and it uses convection currents to cook. So it probably does a better job at rendering that turkey skin and making it more bite through, while the Oklahoma Joe's might just not have the temperature that you need. So I could try another version of this and just cook maybe at like 325 and really have that firebox going. But the Oklahoma Joe's isn't really designed for those huge high temperatures because I might burn the firebox out over time if I have a rip-roaring fire that is needed to get the temperatures up to 325, 350. So that's kind of a downside. And I've experienced this in the past too with the Oklahoma Joe's. But the smoke flavor, it's amazing. It just adds so much to the turkey. This is good. Okay, let's talk about conclusions, and we'll talk about the Traeger turkey first. I'll say this about the Traeger. It makes a damn good turkey. It's comparable to cooking a turkey in the oven, and it has a really subtle, what I would call wood-fired flavor, which is exactly the terminology, the language that Traeger uses in its marketing. They say it's wood-fired flavor. And I think there's a reason they say that, and they don't say smoky flavor, because when you have the Traeger or any pellet grill, you're getting those pellets burning at near complete combustion or closer to complete combustion than another smoker like the Oklahoma Joe's. And as a result, you're getting a much cleaner taste. You're getting less of that smoky flavor. So it's very subtle, and some people like that, but some people like the more smoky flavor. So in terms of smoky flavor, I mean, it tasted pretty much like I would get from a turkey that I cooked in the oven with just a hint of what I would call wood-fired flavor, but I would not consider it smoky. What about convenience and speed? I think this is where the Traeger wins out. It's super convenient. I don't have to run and tend the fire, obviously, every 15 to 20 minutes. I just set it and forget it. And in terms of time, it cooked a lot faster. It cooked an hour and a half faster than on the Oklahoma Joe's. And lastly, evenness of cooking. Again, this is where the Traeger wins. The turkey cooked really evenly, and it had one added benefit. It actually cooked the thighs and the drums faster than the breast meat, which is exactly how we want it, because the perfect temperature to pull the drums and the thighs off is around 170 all the way up to 180. We want to have a higher temperature so that we're rendering out all that fat and the connective tissues and making that dark meat more tender, but we do not want the breast meat to get that high because it'll dry out. The perfect temperature to pull the breast meat, in my opinion, is around 155 degrees Fahrenheit, because that is the perfect temperature where it's still retaining a lot of moisture and it's still cooked enough that you don't have any food safety issues. Moving on to the Oklahoma Joe's, let's talk about flavor. This is where the Oklahoma Joe's wins hands down. I tried this turkey with my wife. I gave her the Oklahoma Joe's turkey, and she agreed that it was really savory and smoky, and that smoke flavor really came through, but it wasn't too overpowering or bitter. And she agreed that it was better tasting than the Traeger turkey because of that smoky flavor. And it didn't just get the smoke flavor on the skin, it actually penetrated into the meat itself. And when we just ate the turkey breast, you could actually taste some smoke flavor within that breast as well. Whereas with the Traeger turkey, it just tasted like regular plain old turkey. So why is this the case? Well, with the Oklahoma Joe's or any offset smoker, you're getting less complete combustion than a pellet smoker. So you're getting more flavor compounds, you're getting more particles, you're getting more gases coming off of the fire, and it's collecting and penetrating the meat and collecting on the skin. And basically, that's a scientific way of saying it produces more smoke and it produces more smoke flavor. So that's why you're getting that more forward smoke flavor on the Oklahoma Joe's. And if it's done correctly and it's not over smoked, it's not smoked with too much heavy white bad smoke, then you get a really awesome flavor that you just can't replicate on a pellet grill. Unfortunately, the Oklahoma Joe's turkey lost out on basically everything else. It's less convenient. I have to run out there every 15 to 20 minutes to manage the fire. It took more time. It took an hour and a half longer to finish the turkey. It cooked less evenly. So it cooked the turkey breast at a certain temperature, and then the thighs were low, and then I had to turn it around to cook it evenly, and even that didn't work really well. And also the skin was more rubbery. My theory for this is that even though I was running the smoker at 300 degrees Fahrenheit, it wasn't getting enough, I would say, energy or heat energy to really crisp up the skin. Whereas in the Traeger, you have more energy coming off of the heat deflector plate. You have more convection currents just by the way that the Traeger cooks, and you're crisping up that skin a lot more. You're rendering out the fat and making it more bite through. Whereas the Oklahoma Joe's, you're getting that 300 degrees Fahrenheit air, but it's passing over the turkey faster, and it's not, this sounds really scientific, but you're not depositing as much heat energy onto that skin to crisp it up. You might be getting the same temperature, but temperature is not energy. So just because of the way that the pellet grills and the Traeger cook, I think you're getting crispier skin, whereas the Oklahoma Joe's, I probably have to bump the temperature up to around 350 to get that crispy skin. So which turkey won, in my opinion? I think that neither of them won. Because the one that's going to win and the one that I'm going to use for Thanksgiving and Christmas is I'm going to use the Oklahoma Joe's. I'm going to smoke it for 1 or 2 hours just to get that smoky flavor, because the Oklahoma Joe's has so much smoke flavor and I want my family to enjoy that. And then I'm going to take the turkey, I'm going to transfer it to an oven at 350, and I'm going to crisp up the skin, and I'm going to cook it evenly, and I'm going to get it exactly to the temperature I want. So I'll get the best of both worlds, and I won't have to have rubbery skin or uneven cooking or anything like that. So I guess in a way the Oklahoma Joe's wins in my mind, because I'd use it for the first part of the cook and I wouldn't use the Traeger. I'd finish it off on the oven. But having said that, the Traeger still makes an awesome turkey. If that's what you have, use it, enjoy it, serve it up to your family. That's really all that matters. It's gonna be an awesome turkey. Now, if you have any turkey questions, come join me on my Patreon page. I will link it in the description box below, or just comment in the comment section. And I'll see you in the next video. I'm gonna link some more turkey videos here and maybe here for you guys to check out and get some more information. Happy smoking.